Okay, we're going to do section 5.3, definitions of zero as an exponent and negative exponents. Before we go there, a couple of rules. Anything to the zero power is 1. Anything to the zero power is 1. And then you have, if you have a to the minus m, to get rid of the negative in the exponent, you're going to say that that's 1 over a to the positive m. So again, if you have a negative exponent, that's the same as saying 1 over a to the positive exponent. All right, so number 1, simplify. You have 8 to the 0. Anything to the 0 power is 1. If you want to see that on the calculator, 8 to the 0 power is 1. Okay, the second part of the problem, 8 to the 2 over 8 to the 2. If we use our rules of exponents, that's 8 to the 2 minus 2, which is 8 to the 0, which is 1. Number 2, simplify 2 to the 0. Again, anything to the 0 power is 1. Number 3, negative 8 to the 0. That's different than negative 8 to the 0. Negative 8 to the 0 is 1, but that's not what we have. We have negative 8 to the 0, which is the same as saying negative 1 times 8 to the 0, which is negative 1 times 1, which would be negative 1. So this answer is negative 1. Now watch, your calculator knows the difference. Negative 8 to the 0 is negative 1. If it had been negative 8 in the parentheses to the 0, that would be just 1. Number 4, negative 7 to the 0. Negative 7, quantity to the 0 is 1. Number 5, we don't care what this is because it's raised to the 0 power. The answer is 1. Now, you could see that as 2 to the 0 times z to the 9th to the 0, which would be 2 to the 0 times z to the 0, because 9 times 0. So that's 1 times 1, which is 1. So you can apply several of the rules. I mean, it doesn't matter what order you apply the rules, as long as you apply them correctly. Number 6, negative 4m to the 0. So we have negative 4 times m to the 0. M to the 0 is 1. So negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Number 7. All right, here we go. Negative exponent. S to the negative 5. We can get rid of the negative in the exponent if we put it downstairs. So that's 1 over s to the positive 5. All right, part 2. S to the 3 over s to the 8. That's s to the 3 minus 8, which is s to the negative 5, which is 1 over s to the 5. Number 8. 7 over 8 to the negative 3. Okay, that's going to be 7 to the negative 3 over 8 to the negative 3. Okay, to get rid of the 7 to the negative 3, 7 to the negative 3, I'm going to put that in the denominator and make it to the positive 3. Now to take care of the 8 to the negative 3 in the denominator, I'm going to move 8 to the 3rd up top in the numerator. Now, what is 8 cubed? Let's see. 8 cubed is 512. And 7 cubed is 343. Now, your calculator can do that all at once. I'm going to tell it to do a fraction. The fraction is 7/8. And I want to raise that to the third power. I get 343 over, oh, sorry. I want to raise it to the negative 3 power. Oops. So to the negative 3 power, I get 512 over 343. 512 over 343. 6 to the negative 2 power. So I'm going to write that, put it down into the denominator as 6 to the positive 2. Now, what is 6 squared? I'll end up with 1 over 36. Number 10. 2z quantity to the negative 1. So I'm going to write that as 1 over quantity 2z to the 1. And we don't need to really have the 1 because it doesn't do anything. So that's just 1 over 2z. Number 11. 8y to the negative 4. Now be careful that exponent's only with the y. 8 times y to the negative 4. I'm going to leave the 8 alone. But to get rid of this negative in the exponent on the y, I need to put the y down in the denominator, and it turns into y to the positive 4. So my answer is 8 over y to the 4. Number 12, negative 2 quantity to the negative 4. I don't like the negative exponent, so I'm going to write that as 1 over negative 2 to the positive 4. Now, what is negative 2 to the positive 4? Negative 2 to the 4th is 16. So I have 1 over 16. Number 13, simplify. Write the answer with positive exponents only. Math does not like negative exponents. That's why we're doing this lesson. Okay, we have negative 2 times a to the negative 8. That negative 8 exponent is only with the a. So we're going to leave the negative 2 alone in the numerator. To get rid of this negative exponent, I'm going to put a to the positive 8 down in the denominator. Number 14. Oh, they have a negative 5 exponent in the denominator. How do you get rid of that negative exponent? I'm going to move it up top and have c to the positive 5. And what's left in the bottom is just 1, so we don't need it. So that becomes just c to the positive 5. Number 15. Y to the negative 10 times y to the 9. Well, that's y to the negative 10 plus 9, which is y to the minus 1. We don't like the negative exponent, so we're going to do 1 over y to the positive 1, but we don't need the 1 exponent, so it's just 1 over y. Number 16. Okay, I'm going to choose to distribute this negative 3 to everybody first. So I'm going to write it as negative 3 to the negative 3, j to the 6th to the negative 3, k to the negative 3 to the negative 3. Now remember the other day when we were doing exponents, a number to sorry, let me write it instead of saying it. A to the m to the n is a to the m times n. All right. Negative 3 to the negative 3. I don't like that exponent, but right now I'm just going to keep it. Negative 3, negative 3. J to the 6 times negative 3 would be negative 18. k to the negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. Okay, I don't like these negative exponents. So I'm going to take care of those by putting them down in the denominator. Negative 3 to the positive 3, j to the positive 18, but I need to keep the k to the 9 up in the numerator. Okay, what is negative 3 cubed? It's negative 27. My answer would be k to the 9th, negative 27, j to the 18th. Number 17. Q to the 4 over q to the 17 is q to the 4 minus 17, which is q to the negative 13, which is 1 over q to the positive 13. I don't like the negative, so I'm going to do 1 over q to the positive 13. Now, something you might have noticed. Q to the 4 over q to the 17. I'm subtracting the exponents because I'm dividing. But since there's more here in the denominator, it's going to be q to the 17 minus 4 is 13 in the denominator. You can think of it either way. Number 18. I am going to take care of the negative exponents first. So to take care of r to the negative 5, that goes in the denominator as r to the positive 5. To take care of r to the negative 8 in the denominator, that becomes r to the positive 8 in the numerator. R to the 8 over r to the 5 is r to the 8 minus 5, which is r cubed. Now, another way you could have seen it, r to the negative 5 over r to the negative 8 is r to the negative 5 minus negative 8, which is r to the 3rd. Number 19. All right, let's see. I'm dealing with a's first. A to the 5th over a to the 9th would be a to the 5 minus 9. B to the negative 4 over b to the 2 is b to the negative 4 minus 2. So I would get a to the negative 4, b to the negative 6, which is 1 over a to the 4, b to the 6. Ooh, I have a negative out front, so that's a negative 1 times something. And then I have this whole big mess raised to the 0 power. That's 1. So negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Number 21. All right, here we go. 4 times negative 7. That takes care of these. P to the negative 9, P to the negative 1, Q to the 3. Okay, I have negative 28, P to the negative 9 plus negative 1, Q to the 3. So negative 28, P to the negative 10, Q to the 3. We don't like the negative exponent, so I've got negative 28. P to the 10 is in the denominator, and then Q to the 3 stays in the numerator. Number 22. B to the 10 over b to the 10, those cancel. Okay, let's talk about the number. Negative 30 over 35. Then I have a to the 10 over a to the negative 10. That's going to be a to the 10 minus negative 10. So what's negative 30 over 35? That's negative 6 over 7. And then a to the 10 plus 10 is a to the 20. 23. Okay, let's go distribute everything. This is a negative 1, don't forget. So I have negative 1 to the 4, x to the negative 2 to the 4, y to the 9 to the 4, over 4 to the negative 2, x to the 9 to the negative 2, y to the negative 4 to the negative 2. Negative 1 to the 4th is just 1. X to the negative 2 to the 4 is x to the negative 8. Y to the 9 to the 4 is y to the 36. 4 to the negative 2, well, that's going to come up top as 4 to the positive 2. And then I have x to the 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. Y to the negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. All right. 4 squared is 16. I'm going to put x to the 8th on the bottom. I'm going to keep the y to the 36. This x to the negative 18th, I'm going to put it up top and become x to the positive 18th. And then I still have y to the 8. All right, 16. X to the 18 minus 8. That takes care of these two. Then I have y's. So I get y to the 36 minus 8. So my answer is 16x to the 10th, y to the 28th. 24. 3 to the negative 2 plus 6 to the negative 1. 3 to the negative 2 is 1 over 3 squared, plus 6 to the negative 1 is 1 over 6 to the 1. So we have 1/9 plus 1/6. I'm just going to go straight to the calculator. 1/9 plus 1/6 as a fraction is 5/18. Now your calculator could have done the beginning. 3 to the negative 2 plus 6 to the negative 1 is 5/18. Last one, number 25. 7 times 9 to the 0, well, 9 to the 0 is 1, minus 8 times 9 to the negative 1, which is 1/9. So I get 7 minus 8/9. 7 minus 8/9 is 55/9. That's it.